All right, here we go. Let's let g of x be the inverse of f of x. And we're going to find out what g prime, so we're going to find out what the inverse prime of 276 is. So when you're doing this, here's what you're actually finding. You're trying to find, in terms of f, you're trying to find f inverse of x prime. So what the first thing you need to do is you need to find f inverse of x. And then you need to take its derivative. And then finally you need to plug in some number into that to figure out, well, for us it'd be 276, right? To figure out what the slope of the tangent line is there. Right, so that's kind of tough. And the reason why it's tough is because you can't find that first step. This first step is really, really, really hard for you. And it's hard for everyone. It's really, really hard math problem for sure. Find the inverse of a degree 3, right? Or degree 5, or maybe even a sine or a cosine, right? Actually, the sine or the cosine, we taught you how to do that already. But you'd have to flip x and y and have to solve for y, and it gets super messy, and you probably don't want to do that. Luckily, there's a shortcut. So let's do the shortcut. We're trying to find g prime of 276. So what you need to realize is that g is an output. F is the input. So what we need to do is we need to work backwards to find out what the input is. Because if we know the input, we can work with f. And we know f. Right? So let's go ahead and let's try to figure out what the input is. Well, I have actually kind of know it off the top of my head because I made the problem. So it's 5. The input's 5. When the input's 5, the output is 276. Right? So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to find out what f prime of 5 is. And then we're going to make it talk to my inverse again. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. So let's find what f prime of x is first. F prime of x is equal to 3x squared plus 12x. Pretty simple, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find what f prime of 5 is. 3 times 5 squared plus 12 times 5. And that's going to be 135. But that's not what I wanted. I didn't want f prime of 5. I wanted g prime of its output of 276, right? So I guess the simple thing, and we can talk about it, why it works, right? I made a whole nother video as to why it works. But the simple thing to do is just take the derivative, find the derivative of the output's input, and flip it. There you go. Boom. Boom shakalaka.